Genesis chapter 10. Verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. Verse 2. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tiras. Verse 3. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. Verse 4. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations. Verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan. Verse 7. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sapta, and Ramah, and Sabteca. And the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. Verse 8. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. Verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod the mighty hunter before the Lord. Verse 10. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Verse 11. Out of that land went forth Ashur, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah. Verse 12. And Rezin between Nineveh and Calah. The same is a great city. Verse 13. And Mizraim begot Ludim, and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Naphtahim. Verse 14. And Pathrusim, and Casluim, out of whom came Philistim, and Caphtorim. Verse 15. And Canaan begot Sidon his firstborn, and Hate. Verse 16. And the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite. Verse 17. And the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite. Verse 18. And the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. And afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. Verse 19. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, as thou comest to Gerar unto Gaza, as thou goest unto Sodom, and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. Verse 20. These are the sons of Ham, after their families, after their tongues, in their countries, and in their nations. Verse 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder. Even to him were children born. Verse 22. The children of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. Verse 23. And the children of Aram, Uzi, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. Verse 24. And Arphaxad begot Selah, and Selah begot Eber. Verse 25. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Verse 26. And Joktan begot Almadad, and Shalef, and Hazarmaveth, and Jerah. Verse 27. And Hadaram, and Uzal, and Diklah. Verse 28. And Obal, and Abimael, and Sheba. Verse 29. And Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. Verse 30. And their dwelling was from Mesha, as thou goest unto Sephar mount of the east. Verse 31. These are the sons of Shem, after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after their nations. Verse 32. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after their generations in their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. Genesis chapter 11. Verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language, and of one speech. Verse 2. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Verse 3. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. Verse 4. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. Verse 6. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Verse 7. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. Verse 8, So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Verse 9, therefore, is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. Verse 10, These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old, and begot Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Verse 11, And Shem lived after he begot Arphaxad 500 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 12, And Arphaxad lived 35 years, and begot Selah. Verse 13, And Arphaxad lived after he begot Selah 403 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 14, And Selah lived 30 years, and begot Eber. Verse 15, And Selah lived after he begot Eber 403 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 6, And Eber lived 34 years, and begot Peleg. Verse 17, And Eber lived after he begot Peleg 430 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 18, And Peleg lived 30 years, and begot Reu. Verse 19, And Peleg lived after he begot Reu 209 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 20, And Reu lived 32 years, and begot Serug. Verse 21, And Reu lived after he begot Serug 207 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 22, And Serug lived 30 years, and begot Nahor. Verse 23, And Serug lived after he begot Nahu 200 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 24, And Nahu lived 29 years, and begot Terah. Verse 25, And Nahu lived after he begot Terah 119 years, and begot sons and daughters. Verse 26, And Terah lived 70 years, and begot Abram, Nahu, and Haran. Verse 27, Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahu, and Haran begot Lot. Verse 28, And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees. Verse 29, And Abram and Nahu took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahu's wife, Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Iscah. Verse 30, But Sarai was barren. She had no child. Verse 31, And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees, to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran, and dwelt there. Verse 32, And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. Genesis chapter 12. Verse 1, Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will shew thee. Verse 2, And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Verse 3, And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Verse 4, So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Verse 5, And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. Verse 6, And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Sichem, unto the plain of Moreh. And the Canaanite was then in the land. Verse 7, And the Lord appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. Verse 8, And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. Verse 9, And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Verse 10, And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. Verse 11, And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Verse 12 Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, that they shall say, This is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. Verse 13 Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee. Verse 14 And it came to pass, that, when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians beheld the woman, that she was very fair. Verse 15 The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. Verse 16 And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep, and oxen, and he asses, and menservants, and maidservants, and she asses, and camels. Verse 17 And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues, because of Sarai Abram's wife. Verse 18 And Pharaoh called Abram, and said, What is this that thou hast done unto me? Why didst thou not tell me that she was thy wife? Verse 19 Why saidst thou, She is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to wife. Now therefore behold thy wife. Take her and go thy way. Verse 20 And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his wife, and all that he had. Genesis chapter 13. Verse 1 And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. Verse 2 And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. Verse 3 And he went on his journeys from the south even to Bethel, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Hai. Verse 4 Unto the place of the altar, which he had made there at the first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. Verse 5 And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Verse 6 And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. Verse 7 And there was a strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. Verse 8 And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Verse 9 Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right, or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left. Verse 10 And Lot lifted up his eyes, and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere, before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, as thou comest unto Zor. Verse 11 Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves the one from the other. Verse 12 Abram dwelled in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelled in the cities of the plain, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. Verse 13 But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Verse 14 And the Lord said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him, Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. Verse 15 For all the land which thou sayest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. Verse 16 And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. Verse 17 Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee. Verse 18 Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto the Lord. Genesis chapter 14. Verse 1 And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel king of Shinar, Arioch king of Elasa, Kedorlaomer king of Elam, and Tidal king of nations. Verse 2 That these made war with Bera king of Sodom, and with Bersha king of Gomorrah, Shernab king of Admah, and Shemeber king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zor. Verse 3 All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the salt sea. Verse 4, 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. Verse 5, and in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Eames in Shave Kiriathaim. Verse 6, and the Horites in their Mount Seir, unto Elprin, which is by the wilderness. Verse 7, and they returned, and came to Enmishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites, that dwelt in Hazazontamar. Verse 8, and there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela. The same is Zor Winky-Face, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. Verse 9, with Kedorlaomer the king of Elam, and with Tidal king of nations, and Amraphel king of Shinar, and Arioch king of Elasa, for kings with 5. Verse 10, and the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. Verse 11, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went away. Verse 12, and they took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Verse 13, and there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner. And these were confederate with Abram. Verse 14, and when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. Verse 15, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Verse 16, and he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. Verse 17, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him, at the valley of Shave, which is the king's dale. Verse 18, and Melchizedek king of Salem brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. Verse 19, and he blessed him, and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 20, and blessed be the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thy hand. And he gave him tithes of all. Verse 21, and the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. Verse 22, and Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up mine hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth. Verse 23, that I will not take from a thread even to a shilachet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. Verse 24, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. Genesis chapter 15. Verse 1, after these things the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield, and thy exceeding great reward. Verse 2, and Abram said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? Verse 3, and Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. Verse 4, and, behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir. Verse 5, and he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. Verse 6, and he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Verse 7, and he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. Verse 8, and he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? Verse 9, and he said unto him, Take me an heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Verse 10, And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. Verse 11, And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. Verse 12, And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. Verse 13, And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Verse 14, And also that nation, whom they shall serve, will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Verse 15, And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Verse 16, But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Verse 17, And it came to pass that, when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. Verse 18, In that same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Verse 19, The Kenite and the Kenizzites and the Cadmonites. Verse 20, And the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims. Verse 21, And the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites.